Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new ukulele tutorial. You might have recognized that one, Paul Simon's American Tune. That was just the verse. There's actually a bridge in the song, and possibly I'll do a second tutorial for that. But he did a really moving performance of that. I know we're all feeling these hard times today, and all of us are going through our personal struggles in addition to having this whole worldwide struggle and national struggle. And times are tough out there, I tell you, but we're hanging in there. You know, it might be weary to the bone, but we'll be okay. And Paul Simon, yeah, he had done like a live streaming sort of version of this song. I'm not sure where he was, but very moving, very, very moving. And I was inspired by seeing that, and I'd like to present this tune to you. Let's figure out how to play this on ukulele. He plays it on acoustic guitar, as he does so well, and sings and writes some beautiful, meaningful lyrics. I highly encourage you to read the lyrics as if it were a poem or something. You can learn a lot from what he has to say in that, about this country and about us as a people and our feelings. You know, it's a big subject, and but it's also a personal subject. So if you're feeling like times are tough and you're feeling down, as I sort of am, I have to admit, there's all kinds of things going on, but I think that you know, stuff like this can really inspire us. Music can lift us, and let's learn this tune together and cheer ourselves up a little bit. So I did that spontaneous fingerstyle arrangement of it. I had just worked that out literally 15 minutes ago. I sat down and said, I want to make a tutorial on American Tune, and I wrote down the chords. I figured it out by ear, and I just sort of threw that together just before I turned this camera on. So I'm not going to show you that chord melody arrangement. That I'd like to refine a little bit more before I tab it out and show it to you. But I would like to teach you the chords to the tune today. Paul Simon was supposedly influenced by Johann Sebastian Bach. He wrote a chorale, a vocal piece. And Paul Simon lifted the chord changes from that, from what I understand. And it's a beautiful chord progression, but it's straight out of Bach. Even Paul Simon admits it. Not all of it, but some of the more interesting chord movements. It's really churchy. You can hear how it kind of has that spiritual, churchy feel to it, which is, you know, what Bach was all about. He wrote an awful lot of music for the church. Let's get into it. It starts with just a simple C chord. And for this, you don't even need any left-hand fingers. You can just use your G, C, and E strings open. And nice picking pattern. I know we're not going to learn a lot of the finer details of this. We're going mostly over the chords, but pick your C and E strings with your first and second fingers of your right hand, your I and M fingers, and then pick the top string, the G string, with your thumb. And that, if you do that as eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, that's a really nice little almost like a piano sort of introduction. That's how I kicked it off. Now the melody, of course, is... We're not going to do that. We're just going to do the chords behind that, which are F, C, G7, C. Very simple chord progression, but they're rapid. They're quarter notes, and so you have to hit one chord for every tap of the foot. Perfect opportunity to learn smoother, quicker chord changes, as I'm sure a vast majority of you out there are wanting to do. Whenever I do a workshop and I ask people, so what kind of stuff do you want to learn? What topics do you want to do in a workshop? Oftentimes they tell me chord changes. That's one of the things that holds them back from really playing the music the way they want to. So this could make an awesome exercise if you did F, C, G7, C. F, C, G7, C. The first measure of Paul Simon's verse kicks right off with a beautiful chord change. So to get from C to G7, I showed you a trick a while back in one of my videos, but just to reiterate that in case you missed it real quick, you're doing the C chord with your third finger, probably the first chord you ever learned, and then G7, you just slip your third finger back to the second fret. It doesn't have to leave the string. It just slides to the second fret, and you plop your other two fingers down, and voila, you've got a G7. So that makes for a smooth C to G7 chord change. All right, Next bar, we're talking about a G chord. Talking about a G sharp diminished, which if you don't know it, it is 1, 2, 1, 2. And then A minor, which is an easy one finger chord. Many is the time I feel vacant. So the chords change pretty rapidly there. F, C, G7, C, G, G sharp diminished, A minor, A minor. A lot of chord action right off the bat. And then I did, in my chord melody thing, I went like... That's just to kind of capture the melody. But if you don't want to do all of that, just A minor and E7 will suffice. So, many times confused. So yeah, just A minor, E7, back to A minor for 3 strums, and then throw in a C7 on the 4th beat. And that C7 is going to lead into an F. Then we have the same chord change that we had in the first 2 measures again. Well, the first measure, excuse me. So it's F, C, G7, C. Now we have G for 2 beats, C for 1, E7 for 1. And you can drag your finger back from C to E7, your 3rd finger from the 3rd fret on the A string to the 2nd fret on the A string to make that C to E7 chord change a little smoother. That works out just fine. So again, that part was F, C, G7, C, G, C, E7. Pretty rapid chord change there on C to E7, but if you use my trick, not so bad. Alright, that leads to A minor to E, 2 beats apiece. Then A minor to C9. C9, in case you don't know it, is 0-2-0-1. It's just a fancier C7. If you really wanted to, you could throw a C7 in there, and it would be fine. But C9 isn't that much harder than C7. It's just 1 additional finger. No big deal. And then we have 2 beats of F, 2 beats of G. 'Cause I'm alright. So that was 2 beats of F, 2 beats of G, 2 beats of F, 2 beats of C. Very churchy, gospel-y, spiritual kind of chord change. Another rapid chord change where it's F, C, G, E7. That was the weary to the bone part. That leads to an A minor, which is 2 beats, an A7, which is 2 beats, and then the it's hard to be bright and bon vivant when you're far away from home. That part goes D7, a little bit of a key change here. Still. So D7 you can do in a variety of ways. The easiest is 2-0-2-0. Let's stick with that for now. 2 beats of that, 2 beats of G7, and then bright and bon vivant, that is C, G, D. 1 beat of C, 1 beat of G, 1 beat of D. Sorry. And that lands on a G chord for 2 beats. So far away from home. So that part is F for 2, C for 2, G for 2, E7 for 2. All this is going to be written out, by the way. I'm going to make a nice chord sheet for you. There are song sheets out there. You could look this tune up and find it on any number of websites. If you wanted to see it along with the lyrics. But I'll write out for you just like a ukulele scribble sheet that has the chords, how many beats they are, and diagrams. And that you will see for free on my Patreon, which I will link to down below as usual. No charge for this one. Alright, and then let's finish it up. We had those 2 beats of F, 2 beats of C, 2 beats of G, 2 beats of E7. That leads to 2 beats of A minor, 1 beat of D minor, first time we saw that chord in this tune, 1 beat of G7, leads to 2 beats of C, 2 beats of G, and finish it off with a whole measure of C. He pauses there before he sings the next verse. So here's the whole thing chord-wise. Not the chord melody arrangement, the fancy stuff, but just strumming through it. Many's the time I've been mistaken. is kind of a rough version that's rounding off some of the rough edges and simplifying it a little bit. Not a perfectly performed performance of it, but I just wanted to show this to you while it's fresh on my mind and while I'm feeling it. And we'll polish it later. We'll get it really together. But anyway, I will make the song sheet available. I'll link to it so you can see the lyrics and the chords. I'll write out a ukulele-specific song sheet that shows you the chords, how many beats they are, and chord diagrams. And let's all be thankful for Paul Simon and his great song in these times. It's very inspiring. I wish someone like him were president. Boy, imagine that, Paul Simon for president. People like that running the world. Man. Anyway, so as usual, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to click the notify bell. Thank you, my new subscribers on my new YouTube channel. It's working out really nicely. I guess my old YouTube channel is still up. That one I cannot upload any more videos to, but you can still view them, thankfully, so they haven't all disappeared. And I appreciate your patronage, and I appreciate you watching, and everybody hang in there. Like Paul Simon said, we're going to be all right. Okay, take care, ukulele people. Bye-bye.